Those are the worst edges in the history of cosplay.
It's not perfect, but it doesn't even have to be good to beat Preston's.
That was way harder for me than I thought it was going to be.
All right, Preston, you fool of a toque. Let's see if you can do better than that. Wow, that looks amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I'm Dalton.
And I'm Preston. And when we were 13, Dalton got his appendix out, and The Fellowship of the Ring had just come out on DVD. So someone gave it to him for a get well gift. And we watched it on repeat for days during his recovery.
We love Lord of the Rings, so we decided to see who could build a better Lord of the Rings weapon.
For $40 or less. Let's go. We actually had a pretty intense back and forth before this episode. Turns out we both really wanted to do Sting. To make Sting well, I don't think you can really do it with $40. He thinks he can do it. So I'm going to let him try that and probably fail. And what I'm going to do is the Shards of Narsil. Now, I know for a fact that Dalton was not feeling very confident about executing on his idea within the $40 budget. So let's hope he's still feeling that way. I also know that it was his 10-year-old daughter that gave him an idea for how to do it within the budget. So if it turns out great, then hopefully he gives her all the credit. If it fails, then hopefully he admits that it was actually his idea. So the $40 budget, here's what I was able to get. I actually have never done anything fully out of EVA foam, so I'm going to try that this time. So I spent my budget on EVA foam. I've got some 10 mil, I've got some 2 mil, I think. And then I had to get a bunch of random little tools so that I can work with it. So I have a Dremel, but I lost the bits, so I had to buy some bits. I have a belt sander, but I lost the sanding belts, and so I had to buy some new sanding belts. And then I got some glue. So I think with that, I pretty much maxed out my $40 budget. Last time, I thought it went really well doing a template, so I'm going to do a template again. Here we go. I'll cut out the blade. And then I'm going to do 2 layers for the hilt, and I'll sandwich those ones together and put the blade down in between them. And I'm such a noob with foam. I'm telling you, this is the first time I've ever built anything entirely out of foam. So if I'm doing something wrong, just tell me in the comments. Well, I think it's somewhat flat. I'm hoping that because I'm going to cut up this sword afterwards, and it's going to be presented in shards, that it won't matter if it's perfectly flat. I'm gonna cross my fingers. And yes, I'm making a Lord of the Rings prop, so of course I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt. There is a very floppy blade. Well, that took forever. I think I have the wrong kind of knife. Or I just suck at cutting. But now I need to do another one of these. Those are the worst edges in the history of cosplay. So bad. So bad. Somebody in the comments tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Preston, I don't know where that came from last week. That was pretty awesome. You definitely beat me. I really need to step up my game this week, so I think I'm going to do that. And the way I'm going to do that is by making Sting from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I even practiced a little bit. I made this half blade here out of foam, just so that I can make sure that I don't mess it up. So I'm going to be building this out of foam. And I'm going to be taking a laminated approach where I have 2 pieces that are stuck together, and those will be for the main body, so for the blade and the handle. And then for the guard, I'm going to have 2 pieces on each side, and then the pommel will be its own separate piece. Once I've got the foam all glued together, I'm going to get my Dremel and sand it down so that the blade will be in the right shape. I'm going to use my wood burning tool to carve the runes in, and then I'll be painting it with white acrylic paint and some glow powder. And I'm going to be making a template as we go. So I'm just going to start cutting foam pieces. Let's go. I think it looks pretty good. I'm hoping that Preston is having a hard time with this. I know what he's making. I just don't know how he's making it. If he's making it like this, I'm hoping he's having a hard time.
Like a complete grunion, I forgot to bring my microphone down, so there's no audio here. I'm just going to do the voiceover thing. My first try went terribly. I tried to freehand it, and I was freaking out because this was looking terrible. I thought I was destroying my whole project. Maybe I can just try it again with a steadier hand. Nope, I need some tape. So I just taped it down on either side with a channel in the middle, hoping that that could guide the bit. It was a little bit better. I had to use my other hand to try and guide my hand, but it still didn't turn out great. And thankfully, one side's a practice side, and I can flip it over and do a little bit better on the other side. Instead of going back and forth, I wanted to try just pulling it backwards. It worked a little bit better, but still looks terrible. Let's just move on to the sanding. Sanding down the edges to try and get a blade edge. Obviously, not going well.
After looking at this a little bit more, I noticed that the grip is a little bit too long. The bottom part right here is supposed to be the pommel, so I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter. Also, my original plan was to wrap this in foam, but as you can probably see, that would make it too wide, too fat. Then it would extend out past the guard right here, and that's not what I want. So my plan now is to take my Dremel tool and contour this so that it's a little bit more rounded, and this will just be my grip. So that's the plan. Well, that looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect to beat Preston's. It doesn't even have to be good to beat Preston's.
That was way harder for me than I thought it was going to be. And I went to bed so disappointed last night, especially with this channel through the middle. My expectations of myself were so much higher than that. It just turned out so squiggly and uneven depth all the way through. And so I had an idea while I was in bed last night. And the idea was to use this more like a router with some sort of guard or guide that can hold it still. I'm sure that Dremel has a bit like that or some attachment like that. I don't know. I haven't looked, but I want to get this done right now. And I don't have one of those, so I'm going to try and make one. another couple millimeters. I think I have it centered, and I think the depth is okay. I'm gonna try it out. Hopefully this doesn't destroy my sword. I really don't want to start over right now. It is tons better. I don't know if you can see, but it's a lot better. I think that might have just saved my project. I mean, it's a one-use thing probably, but I think that saved my project. That looks so much better. So now what I have to do is I need to put these together and shape them together. So I'm going to get to it. We're getting there.
The main detail this needs is the runes. So I'm going to be using my wood burning tool to burn the runes into this, and that'll be it. So the first thing I need to do is create a paper template, and then I'll get it transferred onto here and start wood burning.
So now I'm going to be working on some of the finer details, like these little pass-throughs and wrapping the handle. Yeah, it was a little tricky, but probably not as tricky as whatever Dalton's trying to do right now, so I'm happy with it. I think I want to prep these surfaces a little bit more, so sand them down a little bit, get them as smooth as I can, and then I'm going to prep this for paint. I'm finally getting the hang of it now that I'm almost finished with this project. I've known Dalton my whole life, and I promise you, he doesn't have anything that cool, right? Right? There is definitely a front and a back. That's okay. This is not made for use, it's made for display. I know what you're thinking. Why are you painting that with such a tiny brush? Well, that's all I could find. This was the biggest brush I could find in my collection.
But Dalton has a bigger brush.
Okay, yeah. But is Dalton doing the Shards of Narsil? No. Is he going to fail miserably at Sting? Possibly. Maybe. Hopefully.
All right, so the runes are done. Now it's time to move on to the finishes. So to finish this off, I'm going to Mod Podge it first, just to seal the foam so I can paint it. And then I'm going to hit it with a white coat of paint, and I'm gonna make it thickest where I want it to glow the most. And then I'm probably gonna hit it with a pretty thin layer of silver paint, and then I'll paint on the glow in the dark paint, and we'll see how it looks. Look at that. That is awesome. All right, Preston, you fool of a toque. Let's see if you can do better than that.
Hey guys, it's finally time for finishes. So I'm going to take this out to the garage, spray paint it, and then I'll come back in, do the little details like paint the grip, and then I'm going to cut it. Well, I'm all finished and I am really happy with it. I'm excited to show it to you guys. I don't have it here because I want to save that for the big reveal. And I wanted to do Sting like Dalton. But honestly, I'm going to be surprised if for under $40 he came up with something better than what I came up with. All right, Dalton, $40 budget. How did it go for you?
It went pretty well. I'm really pleased with my result. How did it go for you?
It went well. It had some serious ups and downs, but I'm happy with my result too. What was the hardest thing for you?
For me, the hardest thing was with a sword, you want the edges to be straight and clean. Mine got fuzzy and I could not figure out how to get rid of the fuzz. How about you?
I had the same problem. This was my first time ever working with EVA foam, and a sword requires a lot of precision, and I didn't have any precision. So, yeah, that was challenging, and getting the channel down the middle of the sword, getting that line straight, all the straight lines were really hard. All right, let me show you what I have.
Wow, that looks amazing. It looks so metallic. That looks so good. Yeah, I'm impressed. Those lines look pretty straight too. All right.
Yeah, let's see yours. Oh my gosh. That looks so good. I'm impressed. I'm surprised, actually. I'm surprised. Surprised and impressed. Okay, guys, who do you think did it better? Let us know in the comments. Put a P if you think Preston won, and put a D if you think Dalton won.
Have any tips on how we could have made these even better? Let us know in the comments.
And if you want to see more twin challenges, subscribe.